Hi, it's Daryl again, and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to show you a little bit about the 2017 parliamentary election results in New Zealand. And the reason why I'm making a video about this is because we still don't really have a government, even though the election was a few weeks ago now, or 2 weeks ago. We have a system called MMP, which means that seats in Parliament are allocated proportionately to how many people vote for a particular party. This means that in the case of our election this time, no particular party actually completely won the election. They didn't get more than 50%, but this is kind of good because it means that we form coalition governments, and coalition governments, you have to get agreement of more than 50% of the members of Parliament to form a government together. And in the recent one, the Prime Minister, who's the current Prime Minister, made a statement, and I thought it needed to be investigated because it didn't seem really true to me. He said that, I'm going to totally paraphrase because I'm just going to go from memory. He said that because his party won the majority of seats, but not a majority of seats, then his party should automatically be the party that people should consider to be the government, because that's just how he thinks. Of course, if you're the sitting Prime Minister, you probably want your party to be the government again after an election. But it turned out that they got 56 out of 120 seats, which is not enough to run the country. And to form a government, he'd have to form a coalition. And so what I've done is I've put a graph, and I've organized this from I've made it from political right to political left across the page. And so ACT Party and National Party are the rightmost, then New Zealand First is kind of in the middle, then Labour and Green Party are the leftmost politically left parties. And so what can actually happen is that if a coalition forms with ACT and National and New Zealand First, or just National and New Zealand First, they can make a government because they'll have more than half the seats. And if a coalition forms with New Zealand First, Labour and Greens, they can form the government because they'll also have more than half the seats. So we actually have the ability here that depending on what the politicians can agree, if they can actually agree with each other across parties, then you would be able to get a government. But either way, it turns out that what Bill English was saying, it's just not true. I just disagree with it. I think he's wrong. Broadly, it turns out that if a lot of people like a different flavour of left politics, and so they vote for 3 different left-style parties, I think they're actually indicating that they would prefer a left-style government. However, if you think that New Zealand First is more of a right-leaning party, and that you could say that people actually voted for 3 different right-leaning parties, then you can make a government that is around the other way. So these purple and orange graphs at the bottom show you 2 ways that can be organised. Now I want to point out something. New Zealand has got a lot of good social welfare aspects. So we are kind of a somewhat more socialist country than countries like the United States, or probably even Australia. And this means that when I'm talking about right, this is not like far right politicians. We don't really have much in the way of far right politicians in New Zealand. We're actually, all our politicians kind of basically are an organisation of different types of somewhat socialist, although we do have free market economy, and you could argue much more free market economy than many other countries, especially very large countries that claim to have free market economies. So I'm just going to add on this little bit of paper at the bottom of my page, and I'll just compare just this is no data, this is just the gut feeling I get, that if you compare our political parties to the Republicans or Democrats in the United States, they're like way over on the right side of politics. Maybe New Zealand First would sometimes get, sorry, not New Zealand First, yeah, ACT Party is probably as right-leaning as any American political party, but we're just not over that way. Yeah, anyway, that's my video. Hope you enjoyed a quick look at that. It's an odd little thing. I just thought it needed to be said, that I think that Bill English's idea that because his party gotten the most individual sort of votes, that he should be the Prime Minister automatically is just not true. I just disagree.